Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to your February 2019 love reading. I'm Jade with Yes, 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 and thank you so much for visiting my channel. I want to give a shout out to all the subscribers out there. Thank you for all of your likes and your shares, and for those who have reached out for a personal reading, I have loved working with you. That information is in the box below. If you are resonating with this and you want to have a personal reading, just find me, hit me up on my website. And for you who are new viewers, welcome. We're going to do a special love reading today. So, let me see. What else am I forgetting? We're going to use 3 different decks. Oh, and if any of this is resonating, yeah, let me know with the comments. Also, just hitting that like button is such a huge help. So I'd really appreciate it if you're feeling it. And let's get started. So we're going to use the Romance Angels here as the overall energy. Then we're going to move to the mystical Lenormand spread so that I can see the energies between the masculine and the feminine and how that journey unfolds. And then we'll finish up with the Line Strider deck. That'll give me a little bit more about the energies and what's happening through the path of finding each other. All right, so let's get started. All of the decks have been pre-shuffled. So I'm going to start here with the overall flavor for you, Aquarius, in February 2019. Okay. Ooh, free yourself. Free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. Okay. So what I'm feeling from this, Aquarius, is that maybe we've been too stuck. Maybe we've been trying to manifest something so much so that we've kind of lost track of everything else. And there's a lot of I'm getting a lot of need for balance in a lot of the readings. So what I see here is that, maybe let loose a little bit. Don't try to wrestle the idea of, the perfect life into the ground. Let loose of it. Let it be, like set the bird free to see how it becomes, how it blossoms, right? So instead of strangling the idea, let it transform. That's what I'm feeling. Let yourself transform even. All right, so let's move on to the mystical Lenormand. What I'm looking for here is the 2 significator cards, the masculine and the feminine, and how they find each other. So let's see how this journey unfolds for Aquarius. February 2019. That's the beginning card. All right. Oh, there's the feminine right away. Okay, so let's see what else is going on. There's the ship and the heart. Okay, and the excuse me, the the cross. Sometimes my brain just stops working. There's the snake, and the book, and the stork, and the scythe, the mountain, the fox, and the child, the sun, the dog, the letter, the ring, the whip, and there's your masculine. All right. So we do have quite a few cards in between. There's a bit of a journey here. What it looks like to me is that this middle line will be the journey between you two finding each other. So we'll talk about that. And now let's begin. Feminine Aquariuses. You have been traveling. You have been moving and loving it, okay? So this could be a job. This could be just traveling, taking short-term trips, long-term trips. But you've been really enjoying that, finding more a sense of yourself in the idea of travel, okay? I do like that you're freeing yourself. Now, this travel, this feeling of connection that you're finding in it might have started to become a little bit of a role that you've been seen as, or it could have been a bit of a burden, like, and it could be a financial burden. Maybe you overspent while you've been traveling. The other thing is that maybe people aren't taking you seriously as a worker bee anymore because you've been traveling so much. Maybe you took a year off and just decided to travel the globe. But that's what I'm feeling right now, is that there's a lot of love that was sparked from some type of travel that you've been taking, Aquarius. And at this point, things are changing, so you're kind of ready to root down a little bit. Now, the next line here, what else is coming, and this is kind of around you, is that there is some type of information that will come out that will start something new for you. And this information is really tied down by, I mean, it's been like a secret, right? And it might be something that's connected to family. So it could be a family secret that's gonna come out, and that's going to start a new phase for you. That could bring you back to the ground, whereas you've been kind of, flying or enjoying the travel so much. So, and I'm, family can be this cross that we're bearing. It may not be, but there's something that's bringing you back to a groundedness, to a centeredness. And here we go with this line where you're actually meeting each other. It's going to happen. When it happens, it's going to happen quickly, and it may feel like a challenge. It may feel like all of a sudden you've hit a brick wall. Okay, so life may have been feeling flowy and full and fascinating and fun and full of love, and then all of a sudden there's a brick wall. Okay, you just kind of got stuck, got stopped all of a sudden, and what's happening is it's really about, it is seeming to be responsibility. There are children involved, perhaps, or maybe just some new or even immature energy that's coming up, but it has to do with taking care of the self. Okay, so this could be a job opportunity, like all of a sudden, if your finances have been extended and you need to start something new. There's some kind of newness coming. Now, this is where you're supposed to be meeting each other, masculine and feminine. So somehow in this blockage where all of a sudden the feminine is being stopped from her flow, and she's being forced to confront something new that might be work related or family related, that's when the masculine will show up. Now, let's talk about this masculine. He has success, he is loyal, and he's communicative. He may be someone who is, and this is interesting, he may not be available yet, feminine. He may be in marriage, and that marriage might really be taking a toll on him. So this might be that you are meeting for the first time, but it may not be time to start this relationship. So it's very interesting. So what I'm feeling here is that the feminine is free and enjoying life, and she flows, she experiences, and then something has come up in her life that has stopped her from travel. She's got to change, right? Something has to change. It might be a financial issue. It's interesting because it seems like she's pretty free, but we need to actually free up other things for her. And when the stoppage happens, that's when the masculine will reveal himself, or there'll be a change, a challenge for him, where he's had to stop. He has to face the fact that perhaps he is not being fulfilled in this relationship. And if you are the masculine Aquarius, and you are in relationship, you may right now be feeling like there's some arguments, there's some burden, something. And actually, I'll even say that this may be just a business partnership. It may not be a romantic relationship. So that's entirely possible as well. But there's a burden. There's something that's been, a repeat lesson that you're just being hit over the head with over and over again. And it could be self-inflicted. So just know that there's always a way out. There is success here for you when you dig your way out of this, masculine. So it's just a matter of choosing. And if this is a romance, right? If you are in a marriage and it's feeling like it's a burden, there's always a choice to change this. Okay, you can always change this feeling because the Sun card is here. Because there's, you've been loyal. You want to communicate about it. So talk about it, make it open and honest. And if you are in a relationship, the lady here, she is quite in love, and I think that she's open to working on this relationship. And the masculine, I think that you're loyal and you feel like there's success here. It's just that something might have just become a challenge or a burden, and it might be a child, or it might be work related. Okay, if you work together, if this is a current relationship, if you work together to free each other, lighten it up, I think that there'll be a lot more healing here for you. Okay, really interesting because we're talking about current as well as potentially new love. So very interesting, Aquarius. Okay, let's see what else is here for Aquarius for February 2019. I want to see where the energies begin. Okay. Temperance. There's our balance. We're also being called for healing. Okay, little bits at a time. So we don't have to take the whole issue on at once and try to solve it. Just little bits, okay? Little bits at a time. Really finding balance, really looking for healing. This is a Sagittarius card as well, okay? So interesting. It does look like there's been some pain here. For the masculine, we're in with a Capricorn card here. The devil is about toxicity. We hear this word a lot. What does that actually mean? It just means, you know, energy that's not working for your highest good, okay? Something that is, it might be addictive behavior. And again, we're talking about balance here. We're talking about lightening up. So if you have felt really heavy, if you felt like there's addictions that you're working through, if you felt tied, strangled, if there's something that you don't feel like you can get out of, I urge you to just step out of it. You know, take yourself out of the situation and look for a solution so that you're not in it, right? In it and over your head. What's interesting is that the feminine here has locked herself up, but she's starting to come out of it. She's starting to see the way out. And it's, you know, similar energy, Eight of Swords in the Devil, but the this being in reverse, the feminine is taking the blindfold off, and she's looking at the fact that it was a self-imposed binding, right? And I don't know what this binding is. It's kind of hard to know, especially with general readings. It's very difficult. But there's definitely been a heaviness that both have felt. There's a need to move on. Look at this. So Three of Swords in the reverse, the grief and the loss. We're trying to come out of that, which is beautiful here on the masculine side. Seven of Swords. Perhaps the feminine was wanting to leave the situation, wanting to move out, wanting to move on because it didn't feel like it was serving her highest interest. Looks like this could be, if this is a relationship that's current, we're trying to salvage it. We're really trying to work on it. King of Swords in reverse, Queen of Swords in the reverse. So we have the couple here, okay? Both aren't talking. Now, maybe this is a couple in separation. It's been really heavy. You've been trying to work on it on your own, and we'll see what the cards say about coming back together maybe and working on it. But the masculine doesn't want to speak his truth in a way that is painful, and the feminine, same thing. But I think the feminine is more close to her heart in her words than the masculine is. And now we have the Strength and Five of Pentacles, both in the reverse. So there's some self-doubt over here on the masculine side that we need to move past, lightening it up, freeing yourself, moving on from of blame, right? That toxicity. Perhaps the masculine, that might have been the trigger, is this addictive behavior. And so that's what we're trying to move on from. And there's some shame here, okay? So what we want to do is flip out of this shaming role and get to a place where we can be authentic, be vulnerable, and ask for forgiveness of ourselves, from ourselves, and then from anyone else that we're in relationship with. The feminine here, Five of Pentacles in the reverse, is actually great that you're coming out of this. You're starting to feel more connected to life. You're not going to bear this on your own anymore, which I prefer. I like that you're opening up and you're looking for connection to move forward. Four of Swords in the reverse. The masculine is also trying to come out. There's been a lot of time. There's been a lot of time in your head, really trying to move past this. And what the cards are saying is that it's time to move forward. Okay, the energies are here. It's time to move forward. And what I'll say is that this is also sometimes telling us we need to take a little bit more time. Perhaps we haven't been doing the healing, and we haven't taken the self-reflection, and that we're really needing to take an honest look at what's really going on. So that could also be what's going on here for the masculine. For the feminine, Ace of Wands, the passion is upturned. That move forward, the ability to act is being halted. Okay, there's no new change right here. And again, it's interesting because we're just kind of hanging with this. There's a lot of weight here, Aquarius. I want to see how it ends. Oh, the Hermit ending it. Okay, so the Hermit is what's binding you. There's so much. There's a lot of major arcana here too. Okay, so the Temperance is the underlying energy, the need for healing, the need for balance. The Hermit is where you are all finding each other right now. So if this is in relationship, the Hermit here is saying that you're going to find each other when you take that time. So this is what, we're going to go back to that Four of Swords, meaning prompting us to take more time to reflect. Now, free yourself. So we're trying to find the lightness in this. How can we find the lightness in a really heavy situation? Well, pulling yourself out of the situation and looking at the whole of it, okay? Not holding it onto it and taking it so personally. The Hermit energy is, it is a going within, but it's also a reluctant leader, okay? So you have the answers within you. It's just that you have to have the courage to find them and to let them out, okay? Now, if this is a solo, okay, I've just been reading it as if it was a couple. If this is an individual who has not met their soulmate at this point, okay, or who is not in love relationship, if you're the masculine or the feminine, here's what's going on for them. If you're in the feminine, Aquarius, and you're not in relationship, your masculine is really healing from some addiction issues, really needing to take some time, and that could be why you haven't met them. And right now, I feel like what is binding you too is that you're going through this process together. Feminine, you're coming out of it a little bit faster, okay? For the masculine Aquarius, if you're not in relationship, really take the time to free yourself from whatever this heaviness, this weight, this addictive personality or disruption or behaviors, the pain that you've been going through. Release that shame so that then you can find the power in your healing, okay? This is a really heavy, this was a heavy one, guys. So no, it's not all about lovey-dovey, lightness of being. And I'm not really one to, I don't want to sugarcoat it too much. I try to tell it like it is, but also make it general enough so that it applies to many of you. If this is your situation and you want to reach out, my information, my website is listed in the box below. Let me know how this resonates. What I would hope for is that, we're at this place of healing and we can release whatever shame, whatever disappointment that we might be feeling, and that we're getting back to this place of balance. That's what I'm really hoping for you, Aquarius. So for now, I'm going to send you all of my love.